welcome to the Fight Like Hell podcast. This is episode 19, Monday, June 21st. And today we got a special guest with us. We got Sean, aka Fat Whiskey. What's up, dude?
Oh, yeah, living the dream, man. Happy to be here. It sounds
Yeah,
so good hearing someone else say "fat whiskey." Just rolls off the
yeah.
tongue.
It does, but it's actually deceiving because I do not think you are fat at all. You actually look fantastic,
Well,
dude.
he
Oh,
used to
wow.
be.
Well, when I made that username, yeah, it fit.
Yeah. Before we get into your backstory though, let's we got Austin on the mic with us as always, and
Of course.
right now we're doing another live stream with well, it's not technically live because it's not on YouTube live, but we're doing
Just
StreamYard.
video.
It's video. So those of you who are listening to us in audio format and would like to see our lovely faces, head over to YouTube. And we have a YouTube channel now, and it should still be Fight Like Hell. But
Yeah,
I
it's
think
just felt like hell.
we're gonna change it to Fight Like Hell
Are we?
podcast. Yes, because when you search Fight Like Hell, all these Doom fucking videos come
Yeah,
up.
I saw that.
It's fucking ridiculous. We're like the 17th one down. So Austin is going to change it to Fight Like Hell podcast to find us a little bit easier. Plus, all the link info is in our bio on Fight Like Hell podcast.
Yeah, I still got to update that link tree.
Okay, yeah. So we'll get that updated for you guys. But
Since
so
I do
guess
all the work around here.
I mean, like someone's got to do it. I got a job, man.
Oh, and I don't.
Ouch.
Anyways,
That's it. You're fired.
off what? I'm like 70%
This podcast.
I'm 70% of the commentary.
What are you talking about? I'm just gonna hire Sean over there, and we'll just replace you.
I mean, like,
I mean, he's better looking, anyways.
I didn't know you guys were going to break up in the middle of this.
I'm done.
We have
Ending it
fights
now.
on almost every episode. But let's go over weekends like we normally do. So Austin, you had something happen this weekend on Sunday for Father's Day, at least. What do you got on your weekend stories?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do much. On Sunday, it was Father's Day, so I went over to my dad's and decided to deliver a brand new gun safe to him for Father's Day.
Yeah, it's
Hey.
pretty freaking big, man. You got pictures of it you could show us or show?
I don't have pictures ready. They're all on my phone.
How many gun was it?
30.
Ooh, nice.
It's a Kodiak, right?
Yeah, it's made by Rhino Metals.
Yeah, it's a nice safe, Sean. Like he
Sounds
sent
like
me
it.
pictures of it. It was pretty sick
So-
safe.
Well, yeah,
How heavy was that motherfucker moving it around?
It wasn't too bad. It was like 390 pounds.
Jesus.
It's not
So,
bad. Lightweight.
right. Well, I mean, he had one of those old school safes, the wooden safes with like the glass front.
Mm-hmm.
But then when he moved, it broke. So
Those aren't very safe either.
no, they're display cabinets. They're not gun safes. So I bought him a real gun safe. So
What a good son you are.
right, I figured I try to get those brownie points.
It's a solid gift, man.
Anything else happened for you on the weekend?
That's just died in the heat. That's about it.
Okay. How about you, Sean? How was your weekend? What did you do this weekend?
My weekend was great, man. Celebrated my buddy's birthday. A friend that I call him, my first grade homie. I've known him since first grade, so it was his birthday along with Father's Day. So I got to hang out with them for a little bit. Sunday, for Father's Day, it's my second Father's Day, so that's pretty awesome. Yes, thank you. And just had my family come over and just hang out and do the family thing, man. That's the stuff that matters.
There you go. And then
Yeah.
another thing I wanted to ask is how's your new house, your homestead life now?
The house is great, man. It's good. We've moved around and bounced around and paid the dues to get where we're at. So it's never a better time to be out of big populous cities and be out in an area where you can stretch your legs a little bit. It's very
Because
nice.
how far are you out of the city now?
Well, I mean, technically we're in a city, but from
Right.
where we were, we're about 50 minutes away from where we
Oh
were.
wow.
And the
Okay.
populace here is, I mean, like in like the single digit thousands. I think just a couple thousand.
Oh, okay.
So it's
That's
pretty
nice.
low.
Especially for
You're in
California.
California?
Yes, I am. Don't tell
Don't
anybody.
sound don't sound too stoked about that.
It was by birth. I didn't have a choice. But yeah, I am here.
And you never left.
Well, he left for a little
Yeah,
bit.
I left for a little bit. Yeah, with the army, but other than that, didn't leave. You know, family's here, so you got to come back
Yeah.
and be with family. And people get older, and it just, you know, like I said, it's the stuff that matters, man. Family's where it's
Right.
at. So
Oh yeah. So
Definitely.
so on to Rob's weekend. How was your weekend, Rob?
Uh, I went to a rodeo out here
oh,
and like
nice.
a I'm gonna butcher it. It's when they like it's like almost like a lumberjack event where
Yeah. It's like
they're
the
like
Oh,
cutting down like trees
nice.
and
Like
just
cutting giant stumps for time.
yeah with like
Nice.
axes and
yeah
saws and
the
just
timber
it was
sports.
Yeah,
timber sports. Let's call
Yeah.
it
timber
timber
sports.
sports. Let's
Yeah.
call
Sounds
it
accurate.
timberland, but not to be mistaken
Careful, that's probably
for the two.
trademarked or something.
I'm pretty sure timber sports is trademarked
Yeah, no,
by Still.
somebody that I'm kind of seeing out here trying to figure out if we're gonna start dating or not. I went with her to her event, and well, it's not her event technically. Her
She was chopping wood, huh?
uh,
Rob's Wood.
I didn't go there. I just said she took you to a
he'll
lumberjack
always go
event.
there.
I always
Okay.
go there.
The things he says on this podcast. Oh my god.
Damn. Make sure
Anyways,
she listens to it.
Oh, she
the
does.
best part
Sometimes.
is she doesn't most of the time. So sometimes I talk shit about her and she has no idea. But in a way it's kind of dumb because like we're not solidified and all I do is cock block myself on this because DMs have been hit up quite a bit since
Your own worst enemy, man.
yeah by talking about fucking weekend events. But anyways, it was a cool event. Like we had a lot of fun. Got to see some cool stuff and that was pretty much it. Like had Friday off because the
Nice.
whole like Juneteenth thing. You guys
Mhm.
hear about that? Like new
Oh, yeah.
federal holiday that got passed or whatever. So,
Yeah.
that was kind of nice to randomly just get a Friday added off. Yeah, and that day I moved piles of shit. I've been trying to regrow grass, and I found out that my local area has manure that's free or
Compost.
compost like dry compost. So me and ALY, because if I say her name, she'll probably jump up here. Went out to the dump and grabbed a bunch of shit and loaded it in big Tupperware containers and brought it back to my house and did that all day Friday. So I did a bunch of yard work. That was my
I gotta be
weekend.
honest, that sounds pretty shitty.
It was shitty. And Austin had a bunch of puns on the way home because I called him. And I started doing like I can taste something like it tastes like dirt. I'm like, nope, that's
Oh.
poop. So I wore a mask like
Strangely familiar.
yeah. I ended up
He's used to
wearing a
eating
mask,
ass, so he's like, "Wait, what is this smell?"
Oh shit.
All right, let's get into Sean's backstory with that.
What a segue. Wow.
Yep. So, Sean, tell us about yourself. You were in the military, Army.
I was.
What'd you
Yep.
do?
Not. I was a medic in the Army, so
Oh,
I was
nice.
68.
Another one.
68 whiskey.
A whiskey.
That's where the whiskey comes from. Yeah. It's
Okay,
a common,
this makes more
common
sense
misnomer. Everyone's like, "Oh, you drink whiskey?" I'm like, "No, not anymore." But I mean, I did. But you know, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, no, that's where that moniker comes from. And then the fat part, I earned that part. So
Right.
Well,
Change
yeah.
it. Probably
So go ahead.
I was gonna say you probably should just change it to like muscle whiskey at this point.
Just
Oh God.
make it. You should change it to thick whiskey.
So, with like four C's.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll look good. No, I mean, yeah, I was in the army, and I don't know if you guys knew, but I was a reservist, so I wasn't active duty.
Okay.
But I was in for 9 years, and it enabled me to do what I do now, which is working in healthcare and actually the IT side of the house, so training and education. So there was a goal in mind. There's a whole another backstory as to why I was in the reserves. Literally my recruiter lied to me story, but it's all good. Uh,
No, they don't
oh yeah,
lie.
They don't do that.
they do.
No, they would never do
Oh,
that.
like 5 times. Yeah, no, it was. Oh yeah, once you get in, oh we can't get you in active, but you go in reserve, and then once you get there, just tell them you want to go active. And they looked at me
Yeah, it's
like I
not
was
how it
stupid,
works.
and
Not
that
how it
didn't work.
works.
And then I got
Nope.
to whiskey school, and they're like, hey, if you want to go active and go into civil affairs unit and go do this and go do this, all you got to do is graduate at the top of the class, do this, do that, and the other, and then we can transfer you over. Did all those things. Nope, nothing. At the end, they're like, oh no, 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 you got to go back home. You're already billeted, and so on and so forth. So
Yeah,
I got,
basically have to start over if you want to go active
yeah,
duty.
yeah. Well, that's exactly what it was. And I got back to my
Mhm.
unit, and they're like, that's cool. You can go active duty now, but now all they have is like cooks and something else. So if you want to go, you can go as a cook and then become a medic again. And I was like,
No.
I feel like this is playing over again. So anyways, you guys, I'm sure know exactly how that goes.
Yeah,
But there was that, and the only reason I got out is because I got hurt. So, like I said, as a medic, so carrying an aid bag and a rucksack, jumping out of the back of a LMTV, compression injury, 4 herniated discs,
Oh,
and I was out. And well, the paperwork part took a year and a half, but
of
I was
course.
eventually out. But got out, and then just that's when things kind of went down, man. I went from being fit and like doing strongman and doing all these different things. So like even right now, you're talking about should be like muscle whiskey. I kind of feel like a shell of my former self still, because before, like I said, I was doing big strongman stuff, flipping 1,000-pound tires, just doing everything that required like brute strength. I was big.
Hmm.
I was thick whiskey at that point, and I got hurt, and it just went the other way. The mental stuff took over, and went down a deep
Oh
dark
yeah.
depression for a number of years, and gained a bunch of weight. 332 pounds was my max weight.
Jeez.
So
how tall are
that
you,
just
Sean?
6'2". Yeah,
6'2". Okay.
6'2". I was gonna ask laying down or standing up, but I figured I guess didn't need to
I
clarify.
mean, you can tell both.
6'2" either way, laying down or standing up, it doesesn't change.
Oh, I thought
74
that was like
inches.
an
Whatever.
innuendo for like a sexual comment or something.
Well, that's
The wrong way. I was like, you
It was
sound
meant to
like
make you think,
size
like, wait a
two.
minute, is he taller laying down or standing up? I don't know.
No, I was thinking like you were talking about like dick size or something like that. I was like, wait, what? I've never heard of it that way.
We're going this far, huh?
Not on YouTube. I'm dodging that question. Nope. Get out of there.
Well, you said we can't go
Uh,
politics, but you never said we can't go sex.
Oh,
All right.
goody.
and
All right.
anyways, speaking of strongmen, though, did you watch the World's Strongest Man this weekend?
I did not.
You did not.
No, I did not.
How dare you?
No. I'm not a TV watcher, dude. I don't watch TV. I try to stay away from the TV. It's not.
I don't. I watch you. I watch
not
YouTube. Oh, where'd Rob go? Rob fucked up.
uh,
Fucking shit up,
looks like he
Rob.
went digital.
Right. He went. He entered the Matrix. There he is.
No, someone just tried to call me.
Oh.
Rude.
So that's the first. Like
You need-
we're just getting we're just getting used to like using. Hold on, now I gotta fucking mute myself.
Anyways, but yeah, I mean, I watched it on YouTube. I watched clips of it on YouTube. I didn't like actually watch it. So
Apparently, it's an important phone call.
apparently, so that's why you should. That's why you should just put your phone on Do Not Disturb.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So, anyways, while he's taking care of that, let's go and continue with your journey. So, you got out of the army because your compression, right? Did
Yep.
you have to have back surgery?
I didn't. I went through physical therapy and all that stuff for, a good part of a year. And
Right.
they sent me to a neurosurgeon and had a consultation. And they said, of course, we can operate, we can, proceed with this. However,
Mm-hmm.
how old was I at the time? I was 29, I think. No,
Mm-hmm.
20. I might have been 30. I don't remember.
One of the
One of
two.
those ages. But they were like, we can operate on your back. And I was like, I don't want to have my back operated on. I'm too young for that.
Right.
And they
Yeah.
said, well, you can just live with this pain. And I had something called neurogenic claudication, which is a fancy term for, shooting ass pain. The nerve basically, just like a lightning bolt all day long, 24/7, felt like someone was
Is that
stabbing
like
me.
the sciatic nerve, basically?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The sciatic nerve is
Okay.
impinged and it just sends,
Yeah.
that radiating pain down the leg all the
Yeah,
time.
that's what my father-in-law had a couple months ago, and he had to get back surgery.
Yeah, and I still I struggle with it still. I still have issues. I have good days and bad days. I'm sure when you guys have maybe been watching me do my
Yeah.
75 hard journey or whatever, I was complaining about my back. Still did all my workouts, but there were days where I was hurting bad.
Yeah.
So, it's just something I'm going to have to deal with. But fortunately, losing the weight and getting stronger has helped
Oh yeah.
combat all of that. Keeps everything kind of tight and together, and it's been a huge benefit.
Yeah. So actually, so let's go into that. Let's go into your weight loss journey and how all that started. So
Sure.
what made you decide to lose weight? Like what was the end of it when you said you had enough, basically?
Well, it was a long kind of painstaking journey. After I was injured, like I said, it was just kind of a spiral effect of the whole depression and eating and all that stuff, and you don't really see what you're doing until you have other people tell you, really. Like
Right. Yeah.
in the back of your mind, you're like, man, I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. However, that
Right.
whatever looks good and I'm going to eat it, or that beer or whatever, and just kind of keep going. You're like, well, on Monday I'm going to start over, and then on Tuesday
Yeah.
I'm going to start over, and it just keeps going.
Been
You just
there.
kick that can down the road until 3 years later, and my son was born, and I always envisioned myself just being a strong father, like being one of those dads that pulls up and looks fucking cock diesel and jacked, and just a badass looking dad. I always pictured myself
Right.
that way. And when I looked in the mirror when I was, holding my son, I was like, oh shit, I am the antithesis of what I want to be right now, and even that
Right.
didn't change my mind because he was born in February and I didn't start my program, or 75 hard. I didn't start that until September 21st. So there was still a time between February when my son was born and September that I still couldn't get my shit together to push forward.
Yeah.
So, it took a lot to finally just say I had enough. And it was really just walking up a couple stairs at the house we were living in at the time, literally 4 steps with my son and a diaper bag and all that. And by the time I got to those steps, I felt like I was going to die. Like literally, like my heart was pounding. I was winded. I was, I was like, who is this guy? Going
Yeah.
from being in the shape that I was in to where I was at. It like just, I mean, I was honestly kind of repulsed by myself. So that was the final straw. When that happened, that was like the beginning of September of last year, and I was like, "This is enough." And I told my wife, I said, "Hey, I'm going to start 75 hard." And she's like, "You haven't been doing any." I mean, she knew me back when I was doing the strongman and kicking ass and
Mm-hmm.
taking names before, but she had also seen that 3 year decline, and it was a decline. Um, she had seen that whole thing unfold, and she knows how I am. I'm very much so an all or nothing kind of person,
Mm-hmm.
and she knew that if I started this program, that I would hit the ground running hard, and I would probably get hurt and phase out, and be more nothing than all. And
Right.
I mean, she was encouraging, but she was kind of like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And my mind was like, "I'm doing it." There was no other option, and
Mm-hmm.
that's ultimately what ended up happening. I did it.
Okay, and then so through those 75 days, how much weight did you lose?
I was 332 pounds at my
Bring up that
max,
picture, Austin.
I will. I'm just gonna wait for him to.
and I gonna need you to show the picture because I don't remember what my weight was. It was that.
So hold
I
on.
had
Why is this
lost.
not?
I had lost a total, I believe, of 40 something pounds.
No.
You know, yeah, so that picture on the left there, that 4:30:21, so that's actually at the end of phase 2. But that
Okay.
9:21:20, that is day 1 of 75 hard. That was the dude that was sucking wind trying to get up some stairs.
Right.
So it was a
And I mean,
significant weight loss.
yeah. I mean, just looking at those two photos, you look like almost a different person.
Yeah, yeah, like I threw up the other guy. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
So
it's definitely a major transformation, and you're even going even further now. Like, are you on like a third phase? Are you completed phase 2? Which phase are you currently in?
So I'm actually getting ready to go into phase 3, the final phase, which has got me pretty nervous, honestly. But yeah, I completed 75 hard, phase 1, phase 2, and then you have to wait until the final 30 days of the year. So you guys know the whole
right.
program is the Live Hard program,
Hmm.
and you can't do phase 3 until the last 30 days. So
Yeah.
I have to wait until
I don't plan on doing phase 1, 2, or 3.
and that seems to be a pretty common consensus after people that do or do not complete 75 hard. They're like, I'm not doing that shit again. No way.
Yeah. Nope. Mm-mm.
And
Tell our listeners though about like what phase 2 and phase 3 entails. Or actually even phase 1, because that's a misnomer there. Like phase 1 comes after you complete the 75 hard, right?
correct. Yes.
So
75 hard is
break that down for
first.
us just so people understand.
Sure. So 75 hard is what it sounds like. It's 75 days of pure hell. No, so you have to do 2 workouts a day, 45 minutes. One of them has to be outside. You have to eat clean. So pick a diet of some sort. Drink a gallon of water. Read 10 pages a day, and take a progress photo of yourself. And also no alcohol. So every day you had to do those things for 75 days, rain or shine, night or day, no matter what was going on. Those were the things that you had to do. And then once that's completed, it just kind of rolled over into phase 1. And of course, I didn't look at these, and it's been a minute since I've done them, so I forgot a little bit. But I had to add like 10 minutes of visualization, I believe. So,
Mm-hmm.
kind of quiet time, visualize something that you're wanting to accomplish in your life, and really focus on it. And then it incorporated this cold showers. That was a bitch. I'm not gonna lie. So doing everything from 75 hard and then incorporating cold showers was just rude.
Yeah. So I know we talked about it. Me and you talked about it a little bit when you first started phase 2
Oh
with
yeah.
with the cold showers. I know you weren't looking forward to that at all.
No, no, I wasn't. I mean, I don't mind the cold, but when you're, and there were times I got workouts in late or whatever just because of life, and it was, midnight before bed, and I had to take a freaking cold shower because I hadn't done it yet. So it was those times, that were really trying because you just want to take a warm shower and get in bed, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it goes against everything, and it's not like room temperature cold. It's like it's cold. So like
Yeah.
the
It's cold,
lowest setting
cold.
to where your shower barely even turns on, and
Yeah.
standing under it directly for 10 minutes, dude, it is brutal. So yeah, I didn't enjoy that part.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I think cold showers are worse than like cold baths. I'd rather get in a cold tub than take a cold shower.
I'm out on both of those actually. I'm not down with the cold anything. for
I
for
mean, it's
for
good for
for
you
for
though.
bathing. And oh, it's actually
I mean,
it
it's good
really
for you.
did. It really did. Gets the blood flowing and like the mental clarity and everything. But it took like 15 days for that to
Hmm.
happen. I mean, the first week of doing it, I was just like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And as time progressed on, it was like, okay, I'm doing this for a reason. And there were actually times where I got so focused and so, zen in the shower and in the
Mm-hmm.
moment, and I actually got warm. Like
Oh
I was
yeah.
standing in cold water, and all of a sudden, just whoop, over my body, it felt like I was taking a hot shower. And it happened multiple times. It was the weirdest thing ever. I
Well, and
can't even.
people say that when they get like hypothermia, is they say they get warm though,
Yeah,
just because all your body is trying to constantly just preserve heat, all the heat
yeah,
that it can. So,
yeah.
but speaking of cold, do you know who Wim Hof is? Have you heard
That's
of
the
Wim
dude that
Hof? Yeah,
purposefully swims in like
yeah,
Arctic
the
water, isn't it?
Iceman. Yeah,
Yeah,
Iceman.
Iceman. Yes, yes.
Yeah, he's crazy.
There are benefits. I mean, yeah, there are definitely
Oh, 100%.
benefits. And at the end of it, I could have kept going, but it was like, I'm not gonna keep doing this for fun. It was to the point where it was like a normal thing. But I definitely saw the benefit in it after about halfway through, about 15
Yeah.
days. And then the phase 2 was just, it's a mini 75 hard. So everything from 75 hard, but only for 30 days. So,
Instead of
and
the
then
75 days.
instead of the 75 days. Yeah. So nothing new in that one. And then it's just a giant break until phase 3, which I have not done yet.
And you said that that's at the end of the year. You can only do that like the last part of the year.
Preceding 30 days until you started. Yeah. So 30 days from September 21st, 2020 for me. So I think it's like August 22nd.
So what are you doing in the process right now to kind of maintain, I guess, motivation and or actually, let me ask this a different way. What are you doing to kind of somewhat go back to semi-normal life, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, like, not let it slip and go out of control?
That's a good question because I actually struggled with that when it ended. The reason I was able to do this program was because I'm very good at regimen. Like you're talking about, like the army and just life and things like that. Like there are people that you tell them to do something, and it's the accomplishment of the mission, so to speak, right?
Right.
That was the only thing that was important to me. So when I was in the program, it was like, okay, this is what I have to do. There's no other option. I'm not going to fail. But when I got out, it was like, or out of the program where it ended, that was where the real discipline came in. And that was where the old habits, even though going through that program, started to come in. And by old habits, I mean sitting on the couch, 9 o'clock and like, oh, well, I'm going to go raid the pantry and sitting down and, doing that kind of thing.
Right.
But, I had a little bit of a slide back again. I think like 8 pounds back after
And that's usual
it was
though.
over. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially doing a diet plan for that
Yeah.
time, but gain 8 to 10 pounds back,
It's
and
okay. I'm probably gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna go eat like 10 pieces of cake, and I'll be okay.
yeah. Well, and I also have this thing where if I'm feeling that way, I will basically binge eat something that I want until I'm so sick of it that I don't want to do it anymore. Like it's just one time and it's out, it's done, and I'm back focused again because I
Yeah.
literally am like repulsed by it.
What's your number
So,
one guilty pleasure?
what are we talking about? That's such
Food.
a vague question. Oh,
Food. Food.
okay. Oh, well, for
We'll save
food.
those for later.
Okay, perfect. Food, dude. I'm so non-specific when it comes to food. Whatever sounds good, sounds good. I
Yeah.
don't have a yeah. I mean, if there was one thing that I'm like, oh, I definitely shouldn't eat this, it's like ice cream. You know,
Yeah. Everybody
that's
loves
like
ice cream. I mean,
yeah.
who
I'll take
doesn't
like
love ice
Intolerant
cream?
or something?
yeah. I love ice cream. But most of the time it's usually like going in and grabbing, I don't know, the leftover tortilla chips from the weekend or something like that.
Right.
Eating those
Just
things.
snacking. Just
Yeah,
terrible at
snacking.
snacking.
Totally. Yep. I am a snacker extraordinaire.
Yeah, see, I'm the complete opposite. I don't like snacking. Like I just don't do it. My hardest part is honestly eating, just eating. Because if it was up to me, I'd eat like one meal a day and then just not eat.
Oh, I don't know about all that. I
I'm
like eating.
just, I usually just try to preoccupy myself. So I mean, I don't mind snacking, but 90% of the time I'll just not eat. Like that's why I do intermittent fasting. So I
Oh,
don't eat
okay.
after I don't eat after 6 o'clock.
That's good, man. That's good self-control.
And then I wake up and I usually don't eat until at least like noon.
I wouldn't do that, but that's good that you could do that for sure.
Yeah, and so I usually go about between 16 to 18 hours without eating.
Nice.
So it's just.
I mean, intermittent fasting is a technique, but definitely nutrients, especially when you're putting in 2 workouts a day because you're 71 days into the 75 hard.
I think it's day 71. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're almost
Who's
done.
counting?
The app.
Yeah, the app.
The app counts for me, so I don't have to keep track. I'd be lost if it didn't keep track. I'd be like,
or
what day is it?
Poor Buck though fucks that up all the time. He's listening to us right now too. That's what's funny. Like I know he's gonna listen to this podcast and he'll post something and be like, this is day 37. And it's like day 34 or day 35. He's always like a couple days ahead. I'm like, Buck, like we're on a different day. He's like, I know, I work night shift. I'm all fucking confused all the time.
Right.
It's just wishful thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I see you at like 4:30 every morning getting up and going to the gym. And it's like, why?
Yeah. Have you always been a morning person? Like, is that your thing? Or like, do you like that, or is that just scheduling?
It's like biological clock for me, dude. I just wake up. I set an alarm, but I always beat my alarm, if that makes sense. My body wakes up. And I used to like force it and like try and go back to sleep, right? So I'd wake up and be like, all right, I'm gonna
extra groggy,
ceiling, or check Instagram or whatever for a little bit, and then try and go back to sleep. And when I was doing the 75 hard and trying to lose the weight and everything, I was working out with my my buddy Justin, and he works out early in the morning. He's an early morning dude, like 4 a.m. early, and I was like, all right, well, I'm already getting up, so I just switched my 4 o'clock wake up to like 3:45. Went out to the gym. Yeah, I mean it's just another.
That's
part
a bit.
of the day, man.
I usually don't go to bed till like 1 a.m. So that's a no. I usually don't get up until at least 10. So
that sounds awesome. That sounds like my old like summer break schedule. I haven't had that one in a while.
Yeah, I refuse to wake up at like 4 a.m. unless I have to.
I can't. I don't know. Like I put a poll on, I think Save Our Six or my personal page a while back. I was actually shocked. And the poll was simple. It's like, do you do workouts in the morning or do you do workouts in the afternoon on?
Sure.
I answered as afternoon on into the evening. And then 90% of people, like it was some like stupid number. Like the higher percentage, it was definitely over 70% said that they had to get their workout done in the morning. Just unless I was forced to when I was in the military, like up early to do that stuff. Like I'm not awake yet.
I think when I've talked to people about that, I think it's just the fact that they, if they go to work and do their normal grind and then they come home, I mean, the last thing you want to do when you've had a shit day is go to do anything.
Right.
I mean, at least with me,
that's the opposite.
Definitely.
Like, I want to, like, if I have a shit day, like a couple of my, like ex-girlfriends or whatever, like they could tell, like they're like, you probably need to go to gym. Like just go to gym or go play hockey or something like that. Like I have to have.
Says a fit person who's always been in shape.
Hey, round is a shape.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I was round.
So, but I mean, I'm in that same boat though. Like I always work out like first thing when I get up. I work out. I go and work out.
Get up. What you're starting your day usually around 10 o'clock? 9, 10.
Yeah.
10 o'clock.
Yeah. But I still get up and like the first thing I do, I get up and I work out.
See, I can't. Like I gotta.
And it's usually on an empty stomach. I usually work out on an empty stomach.
Do you work out on an empty stomach, Sean?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, it's the best way. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't like that. No. Yeah, well, that's not true. It's not completely empty. I usually take like a supplement, before I work out.
Well, yeah.
Something like that. But
but food, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Let
Yeah.
me
No food.
let me remember to tag you in one of them dry scoops, man. I need to do that.
I see you doing that, and I've done that before, but I always think like, what if I like inhale this thing?
Right, what if I choke?
It's not gonna be good.
I
Yeah,
saw someone doing 3 dry scoops in a row, and then chugged a bottle of water.
that sounds like a
Oof,
bad life
that's
choice
too
to
much.
me for so
Right?
many
I was like, nope.
reasons.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
What?
keep
What?
Yeah.
tagging Austin in it. He never fucking does it though.
I don't. I'm terrible like posting videos of like I'll post for Veggie and Humble, but I just don't post anything of me.
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of social media person.
He's
Well, if there
not the
was
face
ever a
of
video
Vigilant
I'd
and
want to
Humble.
see, is you sucking down some dry powder. Make sure you get on that.
Okay,
Do it.
I'll post. I'll post it. I'll post one tomorrow.
Do it.
I'm
Do
gonna
it.
hold you to
You
it.
owe like
I will.
there's like 3 or 4 that I've tagged you in that you haven't responded to, and I
I'll
just
post
can't
one.
remember.
Tell you what. If you do it, I will do it.
Okay,
How
I'll do
about
it.
that?
Fuck
I'll
yeah.
post.
Since I just said I won't do it.
I'll post a dry scoop tomorrow.
All right, tag us both in it.
I will.
Okay.
I'll be naked too.
Perfect.
No, don't do that part. That's not good for the audience.
Hey,
I was just gonna
whatever
send it to
floats
like
your
our
boat.
group message. What are you talking about?
Don't want it.
The private message.
Yeah, I was a Snapchat Rob and send it to him.
Dude, the other day, like we added each other on Snapchat because it was like the only social media thing that we're not on
That's
together,
cute.
and
You are now.
yeah,
Yeah.
we are now. And Austin was doing his normal like flirting with me, and
Always.
How could you
and I'm like,
resist?
you realize that like
Right.
most of my girls send me fucking nudes or something like that. I made some like off the wall comment about like titties or something like that, and all of a sudden like I get a fucking Snapchat and it's just his nipple. And I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Well,
I opened it up thinking it was like some chick snap because it was like half asleep the next morning. I'm like, that's a weird looking tit. And then I had to like go back in. I was like, oh,
Oh,
man,
man, that's commitment. Was it
Yeah.
a close up?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice.
yep.
Just
That's
for Rob.
dedication. That's
Yep,
friendship
yep.
101 right there.
It's the hetero life mate here. Like, but one thing we talked about before we started the podcast was you and I might get into a little healthy debate over 75 hard. The only problem is
Sure.
I don't think it's going to be too much of a debate just because of the fact that I think we both kind of agree with this. But I've had a shit ton of people actually, get kind of pissed off at the fact that I quit and that I didn't finish mine. So first off, I want to address something. Yeah, I had the choice to finish it. Yes, I opted not to. Technically, I did quit. But the reasons why I actually quit are actually part of my debate towards Sean and Austin, who kind of like floats in the middle between us.
Somewhere.
It's just an Austin
I don't think the
sandwich.
program.
I'm not okay with that.
I don't think the program is designed for everyone. And
Mhm.
you agreed with that statement, correct, Sean? Or
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any one program of any kind is cookie cutter for everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, you ask any good trainer, the elite of the elite, they don't give people the same programs because the same person's not going to respond the same way as another person responds. So, I mean, that's common, knowledge as
Yeah.
far as people's will and determination and physical aptitude goes.
Yeah. Yeah, because my biggest issues with it were the water consumption for being 5'8" and 163. Drinking a fucking gallon of water was absurd. Like,
Yeah, that's one of the biggest complaints I hear about 75
Yeah.
hard is the
I mean,
gallon.
who the fuck
And
wants to drink a gallon of water a day?
I do.
I just-
I feel like shit if I don't drink a gallon of water.
but like you with all due respect, you're a big dude. Like
Yeah.
you're like proportionately.
I
you're-
would never be offended by you calling me a big dude. So
I mean, like, I mean it in a respectful way. Like, I think
No,
that
no,
you're
no, I
like,
got it. Yeah,
you're
You're a
So,
thick dude.
and-
How's that?
love it. Juicy.
you're a proportionally sized dude in a good way, like in a fit way. Like you look good, at your
Appreciate it.
height and your weight, whereas I
Hmm.
look good at my height and weight too, but I'm jamming an extra like 60 ounces of water in my body that like at one point towards the end of me actually stopping the program,
Hmm.
um, I think it was a weekend or 2 weekends before that. I was doing some playoff games or I was in a tournament and like I play hockey competitively. I'm
Hmm.
sponsored and in
Yeah,
the
I've
middle
seen
of
that.
game,
Yeah, that's
yeah, in
cool,
the
man.
middle of games, I'm having to fucking leave. Like I'm going to take faceoffs that are crucial for us to win in the offensive zone while we're down. And all I'm thinking about is I can't wait to get off the ice so I can go piss. Like
Hmm.
that's not good for an athlete. So my biggest beef with it, and one of the things Andy says, is like there's never like an optimal time to start it because you're gonna always have something. But
Right.
it colliding with like my end of season like playoffs and stuff. My dog's going crazy in the background.
I
Um
hear.
it colliding with my end of season stuff was terrible. And then, Austin and I decided that we'd try something different where I dropped down my water consumption and it
Hmm.
helped. Like I was able to regulate my hydration a lot better. But
Hmm.
like in my head, I was thinking like, fuck, like technically I'm not doing the 75 hard.
You're
Did that for a
modifying the
couple of
plan.
You're modifying it, which his ideology behind the program is zero modification. Like you're
Hmm.
not allowed to modify the program whatsoever. Um,
Right.
so that was kind of like the beginning of the slippery slope.
Sure.
And then I agree. Like, if I was to dissect the program, I would say that I agree with the diet aspect. If you're trying to lose a lot of weight, like it's good to have like a set diet and go more than 30 days with it. Like, there's
Sure.
nothing wrong with that.
It's
The
a
reading
lifestyle
is,
change, not a diet.
yeah, yeah. I guess actually you're correct because like ultimately, like even right now, when you're doing your in between your phase 2 and phase 3, are
Mm.
you sticking to the diet essentially, or you're allowed cheat meals at this point though, right?
Oh yeah, I'm not on any type of program of any kind right now, other than of course my normal workout regimen. So I mean, I eat just inherently. I eat cleaner now because I've had my
Right.
problems before. So I try not to do that. But I mean, if I want something, I don't lead a life of depravity unless there's something that that's preventing it, like the program. So yeah, if I want something now, I eat it or drink it or whatever. So
Yeah.
no restrictions at this point, but general overall eating clean.
And you and I talked, I think like a quarter of the way through
Mm.
when I was telling you that like I had an injury and that I was kind of like, working my way through.
Yeah, your
Um
shoulder was fucked up, right?
yeah. Yeah, it's still fucked up. Like I need to go get an MRI. They think that I tore one of the muscle fibers in between the bicep and the front delt from
Mm.
like a high injury this season.
Hmm.
And I remember like I think you and I got on the conversation about rucking. Was that you and I
Yeah.
that talked about that? Okay.
Yep.
Jog my memory a little bit on that because that's something that I think you said that you incorporated into your program. And for people that might be, like you look at your pictures and stuff inspirational. So like for that person that might be overweight and doesn't like fucking running, what
Hmm.
would you recommend on the whole entire like progress you made by rucking?
Yeah. Well, so I have to circle kind of back to what I was saying about, my wife kind of calling me on my shit, like you're going to bite off more than you can chew. Cause like I said, I went from being this strong, heavy lifting, deadlifting, whatever, ollie lifting, doing all that stuff and being really consistent about it to going complete flatline. And she knew that when I started again, that I would try and get back into it and I would get hurt and I would stop. So I was like, what can I do that is hard and I can be consistent with and is something that, I can start slow. And so I immediately thought rucking. So rucking's just literally walking with a pack or weights of any kind that's strapped to your, shoulders and you just walk at a brisk pace just before you're hitting that, I'm going to need to jog kind of thing, you're just hitting that or not light, fast walking pace just before you need to, start jogging, and then you just walk.
Mm.
And that's what I did. I had a backpack. My specific backpack was a ruck from Go Ruck, and I had the weights in there. And I started off with, and I mean, it's like embarrassing to say at this point, which I mean, it's not because I did the work, but I started with 5 pounds, dude. Day one, I had 5 pounds in that backpack, and I walked.
But I mean, but something is better than nothing.
Well, yeah, because I was completely stagnant. So, I mean, and it kicked my ass too. 5 pounds in that backpack in 45 minutes, at a brisk pace. I mean, I was slow, but when I got back, I mean, I was dying, and I had to do it twice because that's part of the workout, right? So I was doing it early morning and in the evenings, and walking twice a day, and it started really slow. And then, of course, like I started getting competitive with myself. So that 5 pounds really, really quickly jumped to 20. Then it jumped to 40. And then at one point I was just doing 60 pounds twice a day, every day, and just kept going. And it just literally started with walking. And I wasn't doing any weights. I wasn't doing any running because I hate running. I wasn't doing anything. I was literally walking. That's all I was doing, was walking.
Yeah, and I've been I mean, rucking is really good. I've been doing the same thing but with the weight vest. I have a 20-pound weight vest.
Yeah,
that I've incorporated.
That's great, and I'm sure it's challenging too.
Well, yeah, especially when it's 100 degrees outside. It fucking sucks.
Yeah, but hey, you're sweating.
Get a bag, man. Get a bag. Get a ruck.
Are you gonna pay for it?
It's worth it, dude.
No.
It's so worth it.
Yeah.
It's so
I was doing a combination. Like, I have all the outdoorsman gear stuff, but the problem I was running into is like I do backcountry, so all my stuff was ultralight. Like, so I couldn't find a way to like weigh down any of my shit. So I just took my
pack, didn't
carrier and took what's that?
You had an Alice pack that you were using, didn't you?
No, I use a brand, and of course it's blanking my mind right now. It's a brand that strictly does backpacks. Osprey.
Yeah, so I was just about to say. I was gonna say anything at Osprey.
Jansport.
Do you have the Atmos?
Yeah, it's one of those things that like I had to like figure out a different way, so I ended up just taking my vest apart and putting it in there, and then taking like snowboard boots and like
just
snowboard
odds
pants
and ends stuff. Yeah.
Like odds and ends, heavy things, and filling my 88-liter bag. Because I mean, like, in a way, it was good for me because Allie and I do a lot of hiking out here, so it's been easier to do my hiking than go on walks around the fucking neighborhood with her when I was in 75 hard. But in general, like, I still like it. Like, it's good. So, but yeah, Austin. So get a bag, load your shit up.
Those fucking Go-Rucks are expensive though. They're like what, $300-$400 for a Go-Ruck?
Go-Ruck. You have, like, you can buy it.
Well, I have a backpack. I have backpacks. I just prefer the weight vest.
This argument.
As long as you're carrying weight, man, that's all that matters.
Carry more.
I don't like the vest personally because it chafes my chest and back. So I knew I wanted to stay away from that one.
No.
Put some Band-Aids on them nipples.
Right.
And Snapchat them to you?
Hey!
You're not that lucky. You got to pay for
that. You going to start OnlyFans?
You never know.
His OnlyFans is going to be thick whiskey.
Girth whiskey.
With 3 C's.
Yeah. Super thick.
Speaking of things that you do, you also do a podcast, right?
I do. Yeah.
Tell us about your podcast and tell us about your friend that was going to come on but couldn't make it this time.
Sure. So it was actually my buddy Justin, who I was talking about before. He's a Air Force vet, And he and I have also known each other for 20 plus years, and kind of reconnected later in life. I mean, we went through all the grades together, played football in high school together. um, you know, weren't even really that close back then. I mean, we were friends, but not like we are now, and kind of, parted ways. And then the service, he was in the service, and it kind of somehow we connected. I think at the time was Facebook or whatever. He was looking all peeled, getting ready for a competition. And I reached out to him like, holy shit, dude, you look awesome. And it kind of just started that. And we started working out, and we kind of had this idea. I mean, more so him, that he wanted to kind of, you know, be more candid and talk about kind of the things that go on with, um, veterans, of course, and just, people in general, as far as like their mental and physical struggles, because we see a lot of the kind of just cookie cutter stuff that goes on,
Oh yeah.
with a lot of different things, which is fine. I mean, that has its value too. But I mean, myself and he, we kind of just like a little more, substance when it comes to, people talking about how they got where they, ended up, so
Mm.
it kind of came up that way. And we were toying around with, the forging process. So you know what forging is, right? So,
Yeah.
you make a sword or whatever, you put a hunk of metal in, you superheat it, you bang it out with, on an anvil, and you can shape it, and you ultimately get the desired shape. But
Right.
it doesn't always go that way. You have to apply more heat, you have to apply more pressure, you have to change things, and sometimes you just got to say fuck it and throw the thing away, or melt it down completely, because it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So it was kind of that process. And then we ultimately came up with Iron Fire, and that's the name of the podcast, is the Iron Fire podcast. And we really wanted to just, kind of just put our stories out there in the hopes that somebody would hear it, and relate to it, or pieces of it, and maybe take steps in their lives to better themselves, or to lose weight, or seek out mental help, or whatever. And it was just kind of, that's how it played out. And we both just kind of started talking into a microphone, and ended up with an episode. And now we're not off and running, but we're making them as they go. And it's been
Yeah.
really good, been a really good thing.
Yeah. And how many episodes do you guys have out?
Currently we have four
Okay.
episodes out. Yeah. So some of them are pretty long too. We were trying to figure out how long we wanted to get them, and
Right.
kind of what
Yeah.
the goal was going to be. And we also wanted to start like a 75 hard series, basically like my experience through 75 hard, which people
Mm-hmm.
keep asking,
Oh yeah.
about that, when we're going to do that, because we've kind of played more on the mental side of it. Because that was a huge piece for me. I mean, I wouldn't
Oh
I
yeah.
wouldn't be here if I hadn't gotten my mind right. And so it was important to both of us to just kind of, play on those things, and just keep it real and keep it candid. And that's what
Yeah.
what we've done. And then, I mean, being vulnerable is freaking hard, dude.
Oh yeah.
So it's it's like free therapy for both of us. So we kind of just bullshit at each other and get the information out, and hopefully it helps.
Yeah, no, and and like I said, and we can definitely relate to that. Especially with this podcast, we've definitely had people, like you or anybody else we've had on here. It's just nice to be able to just talk to them and listen to their story, and listen to how people, because everybody's so different, but yet a lot of, especially like vets have the same struggles. We all have the
Hmm.
same struggles where we all have issues we're trying to deal with, and the biggest thing is just having a community around you, having
Oh yeah.
people you can reach out to, and like I said, everybody talks about the negatives of social media, but nobody talks about the positives of social media.
100%.
There's so many positives out there for social media, but you never hear about them. All you hear about is the negatives.
Right. I agree.
You literally have this three-way connection right here because of positive things that have happened through social media with all
Yeah,
three of
that's
us being
true.
connected. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's a couple
Yeah.
things that you touched on too that I want to kind of
Hmm.
bring back up on the whole like podcasting thing, since you guys are
Sure.
four deep. And this has been a lot of self-discovery for Austin and I. This is our 19th episode, I think.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
we've discovered that even the long ones do well. Like, I think our longest one is, what was it, 2.5 or like
Yeah, I think it was like 2.5 hours with. I think it was with Jordan. I think our
might have been
longest
with
one was.
Jordan. I think
Wow.
Scotty's was like 2 hours. One of them was an
Yeah.
hour and a half. Like generally, like we don't necessarily try to rush our guests off. We've had a couple guests
No.
that like needed to go, and
Mhm.
we could tell that they wanted to wrap up. And then Austin and I have run into things where we ran out of things to kind of like talk about.
Like the last episode, we pretty much ran out of stuff talking about
Yeah, but we
like
still
45
somehow,
minutes.
yeah, but we still pushed through. And was that the one that I got emotional on, or was that like a few
No,
weeks?
that was the Memorial Day one.
But and the other thing that you said, Sean, was being vulnerable. Like
Mhm.
one of the hardest episodes I did was explaining like some of my experience with loss for like Memorial Day stuff, and
Mhm.
I got super emotional. Like I cried on the podcast, and
Yeah.
I'd never done that before. But whether people are telling you this or not, if anyone's listening to your podcast, because I listened to one episode of your guys' stuff,
Appreciate
and
it.
I liked it. I did. It was the episode that I think you DM'd me, and
Mhm.
um, it was a good podcast to the point where I was like, okay, I definitely want to talk to him about it. That episode was kind of short. I think it was like 23 minutes. And
Mhm.
I was thinking in my head, I was like, I wish they actually would have talked a little bit longer, because then I could learn more about them and
Yeah,
like
I
what they're
mean,
Yeah.
all about.
yeah, because 20 minutes. I mean, 20 minutes flies by when you listen to a podcast.
Mhm.
Like, and especially with Rob when he listens to it on like 1.5 speed, it's like 10 minutes of a podcast.
Yeah, I
That's
listened.
true. I double mine up too. I listen at 1.5, sometimes two if I'm feeling crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
see, I can't do that. I have to listen to it at normal speed. It sounds weird.
It sounds so weird to me if I listened to it normal.
Mm.
Yeah,
No,
if they don't sound like
dude,
a
you're like
chipmunk, you're
probably the
not
only
doing it
person
right.
I've met that does that though. Like so many other people make fun of me for that shit.
Well, I think
Yeah,
we
my
did
wife
I
can't
think we,
stand it when I listen to podcasts. When I listen to
yeah.
podcasts in the car and I have it on too,
Mm-mm.
she's like, "How do you even know what they're saying?" She's like, "I can't
Right?
understand anything they're saying." I'm like, "Oh, he's talking about this, and they're talking about that." And
Yeah,
she's like,
yeah,
"That just
yeah.
right over me. Can't hear it."
And that's just normal because that's what you've listened to it for so long. So your brain just is used to picking up on it at two speed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so.
I mean,
But then you
so
get like the slow talkers, and that just I can't do that. I can't do
right.
that. Yeah.
Unless they're super fast talkers, then you put it at 2 speed and they're like going a million miles an hour.
Warp
Well,
speed. Yeah. Ludicrous
I'll
speed.
go. I'll go to make like a clip for us to like post on like Fight Like Hell podcast or one of our Instagrams, and just like at the conversation speed that we're having right now, I'm like, oh my god, dude, like you're not covering shit in 15-second clip here. So I'm like,
Yeah.
bump it up to 1.5. We can actually hear what the fuck they're talking about and
Yeah.
get a little bit
Yeah.
more of the
Yeah.
conversation.
No, I feel you on
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And then the next thing, well, a couple more things I wanted to cover is, because you said Justin, right? That's his name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. You said he competed.
Yeah, he's competed a few times,
Okay.
and I mean,
Would you ever
I'm so,
would you ever think about competing?
hell no,
No,
Mm-mm.
no. You don't want
no.
that level of dedication and commitment.
It's not the kind of well, talk about like what Rob said about 75 hard, and the way I view it, they're different. He has
Oh,
goals, I
100%.
have goals, but the goals aren't necessarily the same. So
Yeah.
I mean, for me, and this is purely for me, because I am super impressed by bodybuilders, athletes, figure,
Right.
natural. I mean, it just takes an ungodly amount of dedication to do that.
Oh, 100%.
But for me, I don't want to do that. It just never has interested me.
No.
Justin tried to get me to do it a few times, or actually really only one time, and I had a meal plan and was doing all that stuff, and it just didn't resonate with me, man. I like
Yeah.
lifting to lift heavy, and I like lifting because it's good therapy, and I
Yeah.
do it because I want to be healthy. I don't want to do it because it dance around
Yeah.
in Speedo. Although I would look good.
Well, yeah.
Speedo.
I mean, I think.
Naturally.
I think if you put it all in, I think you could do well. I mean, you have a good frame. I think you do well.
I
A good
appreciate
shape,
that,
as we put
but
it
it's
earlier.
not going to happen. You're more likely to get a nipple shot on Snapchat than you are to see me on stage in a speedo. So,
Well, I'm saying,
and
or you
neither
can
of
just do
those
a
is going to
strongman
happen.
competition.
But yeah, well, strongman I did do some competitions, but nothing. What do you call it? Like national or anything like
Yeah,
that. Just
right.
local level.
Yeah.
Local level.
What
Yeah,
are
it
you
was
what are you deadlifting
deadlifting. I
currently?
don't because my back, and that's something that I'm
Gotcha.
Oh,
super bummed about because that was one of my favorite lifts back in the day, and it was,
yeah.
I think my heaviest deadlift, and this was just before I got hurt, was just shy of 700 pounds.
Jeez.
Jesus
So,
Christ.
and it
That's like what
was,
5 of Rob.
Lord.
yeah, it was just shy, and it was, it was awesome, man. I really enjoyed it, but I can't do it anymore. So it
Yeah.
sucks, but I do other things to, make up for it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've always been fascinated with strongman and bodybuilding, and all
Yeah.
that. So.
Yeah, I mean, feats of strength, dude. It was always impressive to me. I remember being a kid and they had strongman. And this was back before it was
Oh yeah.
cool, It wasn't cool back then to be a strongman. These guys were like just giant
No.
ogres that were carrying
Pretty
women in
much.
cars and stuff, And they don't look like they look now. Like the guys now, they look fairly athletic. I mean, they're still built like a brick shit house, but the guys
Yeah.
back in the day, they were like weird Magnum PI looking, just
Right.
ogre type dudes.
Right.
And
Well, I mean, you know who Brian Shaw is, right?
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And
I
seen him
mean,
in real life,
he's.
the guy is
Oh,
massive,
really?
dude.
Yeah.
Oh my
So he's
god, he's
six
huge.
6'7",
Yeah,
like
he's
450 pounds. And the
yeah,
guy's huge.
yeah, dude. So I saw him at a Fit Expo, but then this is
Oh
when I
yeah.
was doing strongman and everything, and I was,
Was that
10th
the?
grade.
Yeah. Was that the same expo you met Rich Piana? Or was that a
Yeah,
different one?
in LA,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
same one. Rest in peace, Rich Piana.
Yeah.
That guy's
Right. That
cool, man.
sucks. I
Talk
mean,
about another massive dude, though. My
he is
god,
huge. I used
dude.
to, when he was still alive. That's all I would listen to. I'd watch his videos on YouTube all the fucking time
Oh
because
yeah,
he'd eat a,
he's
you
so
know,
intelligent too.
he's super smart.
So
I
intelligent.
loved when he would do like ice cream eating competitions because that guy would put away like a pint of Ben and Jerry's every single night before he went to bed. Like that
Yeah,
was his ritual, and
so
that guy was
jealous.
jacked, but he was the nicest human being ever.
Yeah, he was
Like,
great.
and especially with his fans, like he would take the time to make sure he saw every single person.
Yep. Yeah, he was cool, man. It was
So
I met him a couple times, so it was a sad day when he passed away.
right, yeah. So, and the next thing I want to do is I have a question here is how to keep going when you have no motivation. So like what was your put like especially towards like the end of like 75 hard what or the beginning even what was your motivation to keep going?
Well, the motivation in the beginning was my son, as we talked about.
Mhm.
I had this vision, of just being this fit dad, and I wasn't. I was the complete opposite. So, but once things kind of started rolling, I'd say around day 60 out of 75, I got bored. Like I got
Yeah.
super bored. Like I was like, this is boring now. I'm not having fun anymore. I'm just going through the motions. And I did hit a wall of like, what the fuck am I even doing this for? But then every time I would get home, I would see my son, and then I'd be like, okay, well, I'm just gonna keep doing this and see what happens. And then I just kept having that vision, of like, okay, one day I'm gonna be that dad that I wanted to be, and that's been my motivation. And then of course just my personal health. It's not healthy for
Mhm.
anybody to walk up a baby flight of stairs and be winded. So it was
Right.
it was that it was do it or go back to what you were, and you're gonna
Yeah.
meet your grave sooner than you should. So that
Right. I
was
mean
that
cuz
was that
cuz
was
the
my
whole
thing.
thing of yeah, cuz the whole thing of like survival of the fittest I mean is 100%, you know, people think of survival of the fittest and they're like, "Oh, yeah." A lot of people don't believe that. But it's true like you said, if you walk up a flight of stairs and you're completely out of breath, you
Hmm.
know, what is that gonna good for you? Especially from like say trying to how are you gonna run away from somebody or even
Mm-hmm.
if someone tries to attack you or anything in the streets, if you can't defend yourself or run away without running 100 feet and dying, from exhaustion, what are you gonna
Yeah.
do?
And that's where I was at. And I know you guys know this too. The whole adage of train the way you fight, fight the way you train.
Oh yeah.
And I've always been a firm believer of that. And I learned all these invaluable skills from the Army as a medic. And I was an instructor too, and a CLS instructor. And I took a lot of pride in the things that I could do and was capable of doing. And I was like, I don't know if I'd be able to do any of that. Like, if you asked me to
Right.
drag a 250-pound dummy right now, I couldn't do it. You
Right.
know,
Yeah. If you had a
and
fireman carry somebody, I mean,
yeah, yeah. So it was a big eye opener, and it was more for me the motivation, of course, like sort of cliche, the family stuff, but it was also where I had been. I knew I was capable of it, and I know
right.
that there are people too that have never seen the other side. They weren't doing strongman before, they weren't in the military before, they weren't doing. There are people that reach that point and they never had anything to look back at and say, I can do
Oh yeah.
this. They're starting from scratch. It's like, this is baseline nothing for me. I don't know what I'm capable of. I don't
Hmm.
know where this is going to end up. And that's tough, man. I think those people have it much harder
Oh,
than,
I
say, I
agree.
did, because I knew I was capable. I knew that if I did what I was supposed to do, that it would bounce back, and I knew that I'd be able to get muscle back. I knew that I would lose the weight. I knew all those things. So for
Right.
me,
No.
I had
Yeah.
I had that advantage versus some other people that you know had never seen the other side.
Right. And I mean, my favorite example is who Ethan Suplee is, right? The actor that lost a whole bunch of weight.
Nope.
Bring up a picture of him. I'll talk about
Um.
him while you're bringing him up.
Okay.
So Joe Rogan recently had this guy on. He was I think he was in Varsity Blues. No, he was in Remember the Titans,
Yeah.
I think. And he was a big fat dude. And they've
Oh,
done a
Randy
couple
from
posts.
from My
Yeah.
Name Is
My name is
Earl.
Earl. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy.
Randy.
That guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Have
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
seen how
yeah.
much weight he's lost and like
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he's
his
a
fitness
beast
journey is
now.
incredible. He was just
Yeah.
on Joe Rogan like last month. I had Austin listen to the episode. I had a couple other people listen
Yeah.
to it. It's
Yeah.
so good, man. And he talks about
Mm-hmm.
like body dysmorphia. He talks about a couple of the things that you said kind of like resonated with his story too, where he was talking about he wanted to just push himself a little bit further every day. And like step
Mm-hmm.
one was walking to the car because he was so out of shape. And granted, I'm not saying that you were that out of shape, but he was so out of shape that
Oh yeah.
he would have to, like, his accomplishment for that day was walking to the car. There he is. Can you make that a little
Yeah.
bit bigger, Austin?
That's the best I can do.
Okay.
I mean, I can zoom in, but that's the best I
Yeah,
can
but
do.
then it starts losing the picture.
Yeah.
But yeah, man,
Mm-hmm.
like, and then from there, walking past the car and like, going down the block and like just
Yeah.
going a little bit further and further each day.
Yeah, man.
So it's motivating. And something else that you had mentioned earlier too, because I don't know if you get this or not with your social media platform or the podcast yet.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that's been really good to us, and I'll end up flipping this around in a second towards you, is we do get compliments and things that are really nice that we don't even know how to respond to sometimes on some of the things that like people tell us about the podcast or posts that like Austin will do or I'll do for like Save Our Six or Vigilant and Humble. And we're like, holy shit, like people actually like listen to us and think that we're doing something good for, the military community, the 911 services, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But where I want to take that is like one of the things that I usually do on a daily basis is I go to your story because I like looking at your story and seeing that the way that you carry yourself and like your motivation in the morning and the way you look and your fitness level. And I was super stoked when we found out we were going to be able to get you on the podcast. So for like what it's worth, like I'm telling you, like as a friend, like a guy who like motivates other people, like you motivate the shit out of me. So like I love looking at your page and I love the fact that we're friends, man. So like
Yeah.
thank you for what you do.
Yeah. And I mean,
Appreciate that, man.
And I know I mean, you motivated me just for the whole 75 hard. I mean, because I basically watched you from the beginning, and that's how I originally found you, was because you were doing the 75 hard challenge.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and that's how I found you in the beginning. And like I said, I watched you, from the beginning of that to the end, and saw your transformation. And then I like recently that you've been doing your flag every morning and stuff.
Yes.
I thought that was pretty cool that you've been doing that. So
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm glad somebody enjoys it. I just, man, I don't know. Said I wouldn't get political, but just we
oh
need
It's
more of
yeah,
more
it.
than it's
We need
probably
we
more
need
than you
more of it.
know. That's what I'm getting at. Like,
oh yeah,
I don't think people go out of their way enough to tell other people that their stuff motivates them. I think there's a combination of what people do on our stories. They're either looking at us because they hate something that you're succeeding at and they want to see if you're going to fail. And then
Sure.
I also think that there are genuine people out there that look at it. And in my crowd, like, I think it's like a 70-30, where I do know that there's people on my shit
oh yeah.
listening to this podcast right now and or going to look at my story tomorrow. Like, I hope Rob Z fucking fails. Fuck that dude.
Mm.
But there's
That's a
also
terrible way to live life, though, isn't it?
Oh
it
yeah.
really is. Like,
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a
celebrate
terrible way to
people's
live life.
successes.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
fuck,
yeah.
like
that's the wrong way to live a life, man. I don't
no,
even
no,
give those
like
people that's your time and energy. That's not
Right. No,
that's
100%.
that's not worth anything.
And
whereas
like,
like
and
go ahead, Austin, you take
okay,
it.
okay, and then I was gonna go back to the flag. Um, like you were gonna say, some people don't like that, but it's not.
Mhm.
You don't have to please everybody.
No.
I mean, and to a lot of people, it's more than just a flag.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm sure the three
Yeah,
guys on this camera are more than
right.
just a flag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, a lot of people just
Civil
see red.
infantry and a medic, man. Like,
Right,
we
Yeah.
fucking
right.
like that's like the greatest connection
Yeah.
between the militaries of the two. Dude, when
Oh
you were
yeah.
coming on, I was like, I hope to God he's not a fucking pogue or whatever in my head. I was thinking, because like medics are not pogues to me. Like,
No,
I know
they're the
technically,
most important people on the battlefield.
absolutely. Like, we can't fucking function. When we had on Brewer last week, that was our big
Yeah,
discussion.
he was a medic too.
He was a medic
Yeah.
too, and now he's a nurse practitioner. Like, so
That's awesome. He took advantage of
yeah.
all that.
So it's just, I don't know, man. Like, it's definitely that whole entire connection through the military. But
Yeah, well,
yeah,
it's the brotherhood,
Oh
and
yeah.
and something that's huge too. We were talking about, veteran community and things like that, and I think a lot of guys get so disheartened when they leave the service because you're leaving
100%.
your group of brothers and sisters, and it's like, whoa,
Their
fuck, what am
purpose.
I gonna do? It's like, what am I gonna do now? And then you go to the
Oh yeah.
civilian world, and it's like it's not the same, and I think something that I try and bring back, and you're talking about my stories and everything. Like, you guys see that I have the group that I work out with now. I have a very
Yeah.
small gym in the little country area that I live at now. And, immediately it was like, I want to know these people. I want to know their story. I want to know what they're all
Right.
about. I want to do that, because it was like, this is my tribe. Like, just because
Right.
I don't have it in the service now, I now can bring this to my regular everyday life, and it
Exactly.
worked. And
Yeah.
these people I've only known for like a month and a half, but I mean, some of them I have like really tight bonds with. It's phenomenal.
Well,
you know
look at me and Rob. I've known Rob for only what 8, 9 months, 10 months,
yeah. I think we met in like what, September,
August. Yeah, August, September,
September, and then we started actually doing business together in maybe
October.
late November.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I
So
was
like I said,
strictly like a customer for a long time. Like, I would just buy
yeah,
some of your stuff, and then we kind of like connected beyond that.
yeah, and then like I
so
said, and me and Rob have known each other for not that long, but he's my best friend. I talk to Rob more than anybody. I talk to Rob more than my wife.
My mom was questioning me about that the other day. She's like, "What does his wife think about the fact that
who's
you
this
guys
guy
talk?"
Austin you're dating?
Yeah,
Right, pretty much.
yeah, 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 yeah. But no, like you were saying, Sean. It's I think that's like one of those unique personality traits that some of us acquire being in the military is the
Hmm.
ability to go into an unfamiliar territory, maybe sit back and observe at first and kind of like try to figure out who you want to connect with. But when you find those connections, you dig in deep
Oh
because
yeah.
Hmm.
it's just you're used to bonding with people of all nationalities, all races,
Hmm.
all
Absolutely.
different colors. Like like that's one of the things that like we won't go down like a super political route or like a racial route, but for being military, like you serve with all different types of ethnicities and all
Oh
different types
yeah.
of
Hmm.
colors, and like none of that stuff matters when it comes down to like being on the battlefield. Like
Yeah, that
I
stuff
don't
doesn't
care.
matter when you're being shot at. Like, I don't care
Exactly.
what color you are. As
Yeah.
long as you have my back, I
Return
could care
fire
less
with
what you
me.
are.
Help me get
Yeah,
out of the
I could care
situation.
less what you look like.
Yeah, and it's a good way to like I think the military is good in that essence where it helps break stereotypes and makes you
Oh yeah,
realize that, people people can do good things. It doesn't matter where they come from.
Oh
It
yeah,
matters what you do. So,
absolutely. I mean, character speaks volumes over so many
oh yeah,
different things, and I mean, actions above character too, because there are some people that can fake the funk really well, and then
oh yeah,
never follow through on what they say. So
yeah.
and I think also too, playing on what you just said, our bullshit meters are amazing. Like, I mean, I can talk to somebody for, a minute and be like, oh no, this person's not about what they say they're about, or you just don't, like something's just not authentic. Like, you just weed through it really fast. And
right.
so
Yeah.
it's an amazing skill to acquire. But of course, it also makes enemies really fast. I've noticed too, because as soon as you talk to somebody and you're like, oh no, this person's not worth my time. And then people are like, oh, well, that person's,
Oh yeah,
cocky, or they think they're hot shit or whatever. It's like, no, dude, quite the contrary. It's because I knew you were gonna come back and talk shit, just like you're doing right now to other people, and that's why I
right.
don't fuck with you. But that's just, it's life's too short to deal with people like that. Like you're talking
Y-
about the people that want to see you fail, like that shit. That just what a waste, man. What a waste.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, there's people out there that that's all they do, though. All they do want to do is see people fail. They sit at home, do nothing, and they criticize everybody else for doing stuff. And then, and then another thing is, that's probably my favorite thing about the military is learning to talk to anybody and everybody. Like, my wife hates it sometimes because I can literally talk to anybody. Like,
Hmm.
I don't care if it's a hobo on the street and he says hi, I'll say hi back. Like, and my wife's the complete opposite of me, so she's a complete like introvert, so she doesn't like
Yeah.
talking to people. And I'll talk to anybody and everybody in the moon. Like, I don't have a problem talking to people. Like,
Yeah.
you want to talk to me, I'll talk to you. And I talk to anybody who wants to talk to me.
Yeah,
You
I'm the
know.
same, man. I totally agree with that. I can.
So
My wife always says I'm like the social butterfly because I can just
right.
walk into a room, and I mean, I definitely assess things, and
Well, yeah.
I love I mean, in the name of your company, vigilant and humble. It
Hmm.
resonated with me because that's how I am. I watch everything, I see everything,
Right.
but I just try and humble myself. And even with the transformation that I've gone through with my weight and everything, and being that we had this pandemic going on and everything, you know,
Right.
um, I saw people that hadn't seen me in a year, and they're like, "Oh my God, you look amazing!" This, that, and the other, and they maybe hadn't been that fortunate. They had maybe gained weight, or not
Right.
had a positive experience. But instead of being like, "Oh yeah, I look fucking awesome," blah 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 blah, it's like, "Hey, like, how are you doing? Like, what's going on in your
Right.
life?" And people would
Right.
just open up, man. And once I figured out to kind of do those things, and just be like,
Hmm.
"Hey, just." You're in a good place. You're doing well, but like celebrate others. Find out what's going on with other people. And when I
Exactly.
started doing that, man, it was like night and day difference. And I would love to say that I've been doing it forever, but I haven't. I had a major case of HUA for many many moons, so
Oh yeah.
it's a relatively new-ish thing, but the rewards are compounding, and
Yeah.
just like I said, meeting people like you guys, just by being authentic and just
Yeah.
being who you are, but also supporting the other person.
Yeah, no, like I said, and it only takes, all it takes is saying hi to somebody or smiling at somebody to make their day. You
Yeah.
know, 'cause you don't know what that person is going through or that person has gone through, and all it takes is a minute of your time, and it can make their day like the best day they've had in a while.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and that was, you talk about our podcast. The most recent episode is called Vulnerability, and we actually talked about that. That was something that we brought up. People look at me like you're talking about, like, oh man, you look fit, you look big, you look all these things. People have expectations when they see those things, right? They
Right,
look
but
at
they
you
don't
and
know your past.
they don't know anything about you. They
Yeah.
know nothing, but they look at you externally, and you're automatically put in a box somewhere.
Yeah.
Whatever
Well,
that
that's
box
like,
is.
yeah. Well, that's going back to like say like bodybuilders and stuff, and like you say like Rich Piana. Like people look at Rich Piana and think he's this big egotistical asshole who does nothing but steroids and fucking and then you get to meet somebody and you're like, whoa, that's not like the truth at all.
Super
But
cool guy.
everybody looks at bodybuilders and all they think of is steroids. Like, oh, he must do steroids. Or look at someone who's jacked and be like, oh yeah, they do steroids definitely. But they don't know, like, oh no, they put in like 10 years of effort in the gym to get to look this way. It's not just steroids.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
steroids aren't a magical fucking thing that you
can't
just
just
do
take
and
steroids
just
and do
go to
nothing.
sleep.
No. Yeah, such a common misnomer. You just inject it in your butt and you get these
Yeah.
big muscles. It's like, no,
Yeah,
bro, you still got
you just go to sleep and you wake up looking like Jay Cutler. I don't think it works like that.
No, you
does
buy
not
his
work like
supplements from GNC.
Right, right.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
The
that's how it
vitamin
works.
packs, bro. It's all vitamin.
Yeah, the
packs.
vitamin pack.
Yeah.
It's animal pack.
Mhm.
That's how you get
Mhm.
fit.
Because gains.
Right.
Oh, hey, I hate to be the burden of bad news, but my phone is at 10%. Just to let you know.
Okay,
So,
Let's do our wrap up questions then.
We'll do our questions from the internet and we'll wrap this up. That's why our phones are plugged into a charger.
well, I've got
He had
these,
to
not
do
gonna have
headphones.
Hey,
Oh.
we can just do a second episode or something. But I wanted to let you know.
Oh,
so it
you're
wasn't like,
good.
hey, yeah, and then
Right.
And
Done.
we lost Sean again.
So yeah, no, we'll do the questions real fast. Rob, you want to go ahead?
Sure. Would you rather? Oh, by the way, these are answer the internet. They're really fucked up questions, and
There's only one fucked up one on here now.
Okay.
Lovely. Perfect.
And you have to answer one. Here we go. Would you rather never be able to leave the country, or leave the country and not be able to come back?
Never leave the country. What the fuck? What kind of question is that?
Okay, fair enough. Austin came up with these. Don't yell at me.
Well, I'm just saying,
I'm
America's
just kidding.
amazing. There's so much awesome shit.
I know.
I agree.
Yeah,
There's some
really
people out there though that would rather leave and not come back.
Hell
I'm sure.
No.
What do you
Although
got,
I
Austin?
did go to Thailand. It was pretty awesome. But
I've been to Thailand too.
difference.
I've been to
it's
Thailand
fucking
3. Thailand's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you got, Austin?
I'm definitely going the first one. I'd rather just stay. If I don't prefer to travel that much, so I'd rather just stay.
See, I lived overseas for a while, and yeah, I'm gonna go with the first one as well, just because once you get into that phase where, like, I think it was like 6 months in Germany, all I could think about was like, God, it's fucking awesome being able to travel over here, but I miss American culture and the way I grew
Right.
up. Like, it's a culture clash. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the first one. Next question, what you got?
Would you rather always prematurely orgasm or always laugh during sex?
Oh, that's easy. Rob, that's
Yeah,
yeah,
what-
first though.
Shit. I think I'm gonna laugh during sex because I enjoy sex, and I'd rather last longer and just laugh. And
Wouldn't laughing just fuck it up though? If
I don't
you're
know, like,
constantly-
oh my god, I've had a couple like blooper sex things recently, and that
What was his name?
Johnny.
Austin.
No, we're saving ourselves for July when it comes
Yeah.
out here.
For that
But,
live Snapchat.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and at one point she made the comment about how, like, if you're not like laughing during sex, it's not worth it. And I was like, okay.
Nope.
She's like, and I'm like, wait, to clarify, you're not laughing at me, right? She's like, I'm not laughing at you. She's like,
Only at your legs.
oh, really? All right. Answer the fucking question, Austin. Dickhead.
I think I'm gonna go laugh during sex too, because I think you have a point, Rob. I mean, if you're not laughing, it's not worth it.
What do you
Yeah.
got?
No, I'm laughing all the way, man. If you're not having a good time while you're doing the no pants dance, you're doing it wrong.
There we go. All right. Next question. We got two more. Would you rather be the funniest person in a room or the smartest person in a room? Let's go Austin first this time.
I think I'm gonna be the funniest person in the room because it's always better if you make people laugh. But then
Okay.
again, if you're the smartest person in the room, you can get more. You can get stuff from people. So I
What
think
you
I'm gonna
got?
go. I think I'm gonna go with
What
funniest though.
what can I get out of you?
Well, I mean, if you're the smartest person in the room, you can get a lot of things out of people.
Okay.
What about you, Sean?
Uh, I'm just gonna have to go with the way I usually roll, man, and that's the funny guy. He's always been the class clown, man. Just comes natural, and it's actually gotten me pretty far. So sticking with that one.
I've always done like the funny role, but for this instance, I think I'm just gonna switch it up and say that I would like to be the smartest person in the room because I would like to figure out ways to either grow my business, and what I mean by that, not
He'd use it
necessarily.
against women. What are you talking about? You'd use your smartest against women. I know you. Don't lie. Don't lie over
No,
here.
no, man. I'm a relationship type guy.
That's a lie.
Anyways, thank God she doesn't listen to this podcast. Yeah, no, I
Trouble.
think I would like to do the smartest because I would love to just optimize things. And with my head injuries and stuff, it's been hard. Like getting my master's degree was very complicated, but yeah. So I'm gonna go with
But you
smartest.
did it. That's pretty impressive, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it was,
That's not a small feat. That's a huge accomplishment. So kudos to you.
thank you. Yeah, especially being dumb infantry guy, like
Yeah,
blown up
that's
multiple times. All right,
Okay, last
Austin,
one.
close us out. What you got?
Would you rather visit the International Space Station for a week or spend a week in a hotel at the bottom of the ocean?
oh, those are both horrible.
I'll
Oh, this is
lead
my.
this
I
one.
guess I'm going first.
Oh, okay.
Space
Go
or
ahead.
ocean. I have a very unreasonable phobia about sharks, so I'm not touching the fucking ocean, dude. So I'm going to space.
Yeah, I'm gonna go space as well.
See, I'm doing the complete opposite. I'm going
Why?
bottom. I'm going bottom of the ocean. I want to see what's
No,
down there.
darkness.
Yeah.
Darkness is down there, and
That's what
Godzilla.
they say.
And
Godzilla.
what was it? The Meg?
The Megalodon. Yeah.
Yeah, ain't nobody got time for that shit, dude.
Yeah,
Nope.
fuck that. You
I
can have
There's
think.
it.
aliens supposedly, but I haven't seen one. And the space station, at least you'd float. So
I mean, I think I just saw something where they found like a 400-year-old Greenland shark, in the ocean.
That's insane.
also sounds terrible. That's a fact I could have gone my whole life without knowing.
I'll send you a picture.
Oh, perfect.
Or,
Thank you.
or look for it real quick while I close us out. That way everyone can see it. Anyways, so since you're probably running out of battery juice, besides your podcast and your Instagram, which is at @that_whiskey,
hmm
is there anything you want to plug before we wrap up?
Plug wise, no, man. Just the the program I used for my success, my specific success was just the 75 hard. I encourage people to look into it, see if it's something that appeals to them, and if they do commit to it, then give it everything you got. And then the Iron Fire podcast. We also have a Instagram as well. It's at Iron Fire Podcast. Oh, that is ugly. Whatever that is.
It's
Is that the
400
shark?
year.
Shark.
Yeah, it's a 400-year-old shark.
Ain't nobody got time for that, dude. Nope. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Space again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 21 feet long.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, forget all that noise.
That's a solid no from me, sir.
Yep. So, all right, cool. So you plugged your podcast for its Instagram, and you also plugged your actual IG. Um, yeah, we'll have to do another time where we get Jason on as well. Justin, sorry, was injured in the war.
Justin, yes, yes.
And maybe sometime if you want a guest, Austin and or I would gladly jump on with you guys too. Bullshit with you a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah, that'd be
Oh,
good. Yeah, we're looking at getting people that have started businesses and kind of the trials and tribulations of that whole
It's fun.
process and what it
It's
takes
fun.
to,
yeah.
to persevere, because it does take a lot and there's a lot behind
Oh
it.
yeah,
So that's stuff
100%.
we
I
definitely want to
mean,
talk about.
Sunday marks my 3-year mark. So since starting this,
Awesome, man. And that's a huge feat. 3 years is a big,
so
that's a big number.
most businesses quit within their first year. So
There you go. You're
Yeah.
already winning. Well, I appreciate you guys
so
having me on. Honestly, I'll be 100% honest. I had no idea what to expect, but this was good, man. It was good talking with you guys, and it's been a pleasure. I like both of the companies that you guys represent, Vigilant Humble and Save Our Six. I have support across the board on those with military, law enforcement, firefighter. Very pro all those things, and then having each other's backs is what it's all about, whether it's
oh yeah,
military or not. Just that brotherhood, that community hood. That's all we have is each other. So when it all goes to shit, it's the people you can rely on that make the difference.
oh yeah, 100%.
All right. Well, with that being said, Austin, unless you got anything, I'm going to close this.
Nope. Yep. Go ahead and close this out before his phone dies.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Please go to iTunes podcast and rate us and write a review. We'd appreciate that. And or subscribe wherever we are at. We're on all platforms, including YouTube now. Thanks. Good night and be easy. Peace.
Thank you, gentlemen.